Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the heart of a dense forest, there lived a young woman named Maria. She was known for her beauty and her kind heart, but her life took a dark turn one night when she disappeared without a trace. The villagers searched for Maria everywhere, but she was nowhere to be found. Weeks went by, and just when they had given up all hope, Maria returned to the village. However, something was not quite right about her. Her eyes were empty, her skin was pale, and her once sweet voice was now a raspy whisper. The villagers were terrified of her and whispered amongst themselves about the evil that had taken over her body. They warned each other to stay away from her, for she was no longer the kind-hearted Maria they once knew. Maria never spoke of what had happened to her during the time she was gone, but the villagers were too afraid to ask. They lived in fear of her, always making sure to avoid her gaze and crossing themselves whenever she passed by. One night, a young man named Thomas, who was brave beyond his years, decided to confront Maria and find out what had happened to her. He entered her small cottage and was shocked by what he saw. The walls were covered in strange symbols, and Maria was muttering incantations in a language he had never heard before. Thomas approached her and asked her what had happened, but before he could even finish his sentence, Maria turned to face him. Her once beautiful face was twisted in a grotesque snarl, and her eyes were filled with a malevolent gleam. In an instant, Thomas realized that Maria was no longer human, but rather a vessel for an evil entity that had taken over her body. The entity spoke through her, warning Thomas to leave and never return, or suffer the same fate as Maria. Thomas fled the cottage, never to return. The villagers lived in fear of the evil that had taken over their friend, never daring to speak of it again. To this day, the small cottage remains abandoned, a reminder of the terror that once lived within its walls.